when they knew that flash was down. So
all about that
a
play
little
calling.
bit strange, I think, from Najin Blacksword.
We'll see if both of these guys can look a little bit more crisp in game number 2, CJ Blaze versus Najin Sword. Picks and bans. Let's get into it. There's that Gragas ban against Nagne. So he's pretty good on the Gragas, so it's no shock there.
And the Nidalee ban coming out of Najin Blacksword one more time. So even though we know that Nagne plays this champion, they're obviously quite concerned. And we've seen Flame play a pretty mean Nidalee as well.
Yeah.
He was playing AD Nidalee even in Champion Summer, so quite recently.
I believe the very first game we saw him, he played Aurelia way back in Champions Winter last year. But that, very early on too, he was known as like a strong top Nidalee player.
Yes. And so there's the Twitch again going down, and Zyra banned out now, and they're going to take out Kassadin. Will CJ Blaze first pick Thresh, or are they going to let Blacksword have it? No, they will take Corki for Emperor, who's been doing magnificently on that champion throughout the WCG qualifiers.
Yeah, I gotta go back to that Zyra ban a little bit. When you think of Kayn, you don't really think of a Zyra player. So that one surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see what they're thinking as we get further on in this process, but will that Thresh pickup be there? Now the Renekton is available for Expression one more time, one of his go-to champions.
Well, Renekton Thresh wouldn't be a bad pickup at all right now. I mean, there's not really a lot of comps where Thresh gives you like a big disadvantage or anything like that.
Well, Ahri's up this game, and they may take the Orianna since the Gragas has been banned. This is a champion that we haven't seen from Nagne very much, and they're going to go ahead and grab that Annie again. Interesting pickup, but Ahri may be grabbed here by Ambition in response. So a lot of CC and control coming out of Najin Blacksword already. This is pretty much, I mean, we're pretty much guaranteed for another 5v5 composition here from Najin Blacksword. So we've got a pretty transparent composition coming out of the first two picks, and we'll have to see how CJ Blaze decides to deal with this. They can definitely grab that Shen again and do quite well.
Well, they grabbed the Aatrox again for Daydream, and there's that Thresh for Lustboy. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I would encourage Blaze to really go for a deep split push here. They've got a lot of, if they go for some sort of double split push with their mid and top lane picks, they should be able to defend turrets nicely, disengage from Thresh, as well as the revive passive from Aatrox will make it difficult for the 5-man core of Najin Blacksword to dive turrets. So if they can go for a 3-1-1 split, I think that would be pretty ideal here for CJ Blaze, and that's exactly what they like to do. So
they're going to need to be really careful not to group up against this Orianna on Annie. You know, getting pulled in with the shockwave and then stun Tibbers on top of that is about as terrifying as it gets. And they're actually going to lock in Leona. So maybe we could actually be seeing a mid Annie, although I wonder if that's maybe like a top Leona, actually.
It could be a jungle Leona as well. There is that possibility that Watch may be running that champion. But we have seen some mid Annie. Messiah from WE, the Chinese team, likes to play some mid Annie.
Yeah.
That is, but I mean, I don't know where that Orianna would be going. So I'm assuming this is a jungle Leona at this point.
I'd love to see a jungle Leona. And there's a Shyvana. So yeah, I think you're right, man. I think that is going to be Jungle Leona. There it is. So Watch, bringing in something we have never seen here in the Korean scene, as far as I know. As far as I remember here.
We've never seen this. But I know it exists. I mean, Dan Din used to play this all the time back on the old Epic Gamer in NA. So it comes and goes, but that is an insane amount of crowd control and ranged engage. So a unique composition being fielded by Najin Blacksword here should be an exciting one, something more standard. And yes, they do have the potential for that 3-1-1 split push from CJ Blaze if they want to, but this is a hell of an all-in composition by Najin Blacksword.
Yeah, I mean, Najin Sword has always been kind of one of the wombo combo teams traditionally as well, too. So this is going to be right up their alley if we think about like Champion Spring, you know?
Did you miss Do Dive? Because that's what we're about to see.
I did. I missed it. I missed it and it's back. Well, there's a roster for both teams. A wonderful stretch of vision. Yeah, the Hobbit has like 48 frames per second. We've got stretch of vision.
It's fancy here at OGN.
Indeed. We got fancy stuff. So, guys, it may sound like we're in a club, in Europe right now. But no, we're about to get into game number 2 between Blaze and Sword. Can Sword tie it up and force that game 3? We're about to find out, guys. Here at WCG Korea, the round of 8. Let's get in the game. Song before the intro just makes me want to put on a gas mask and get dreadlocks and go dance in a castle or something. It's going to be great. All right.
Well, I would not advise CJ Blaze to go anywhere near Najin Blacksword's jungle this game.
Strong level 1 is a bit of an understatement. There it is, a deadly parasol for Beach Party Leona.
Now in the jungle.
That's right. I'm going to totally play Leona in the jungle. She's one of my favorite supports lately, too.
Expression sniffs out that tri-brush. Are they actually going in on this?
Maybe.
It's
crazy.
It's a little bit bold of CJ Blaze right here. They're going to go for the delayed red invade.
I guess so. All right, well, that's going to force Blacksword to do a little bit of an invade of their own, most likely. But no, just that forward ward being put down by CJ Blaze at the red buff. And they're just going to go ahead and back off. Meanwhile, Blacksword moves in to take their blue.
Yeah, you can see we haven't had a skill yet from Watch because he doesn't know if he's going to need that CC or whether he's just going to go for his W in order to clear faster.
Well, if you can force a jungle Leona to take something other than her W, that's going to mean a really slow start for her first clear rather. So
yeah. Indeed, it will. It's not. She's not a very versatile jungler, but if she can get her way in that first clear, she can do very mean things. Of course, her ganks pretty extraordinary with the Zenith Blade coming in and the amount of CC that she has and her tankiness as well. They're going to go ahead and steal this red buff. Daydream getting very low. Remember, he doesn't have any potions right now, so that little bit of poke coming out of Expression, doing a lot of damage to his first clear. Watch. Immediately going for a gank.
Yeah, he did take his stun first. He took his Q first, so he's going to try to make something happen in the bot lane. I love it. If they can shut this Ahri down early, that's going to be really nice. But no, he's going all the way down to the bot lane.
So he comes around for the red. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So just moving around right there. Goes ahead with the Zenith Blade. Sees that no one's there. Going to pull it all the way around to be extra safe right here. He should know that they did push Daydream out.
Yeah, that's right. And he should be able to take this red down before Daydream gets there. It'll be really close if he uses a smite. Yeah, there it is. And Daydream sees the minion in there, and that's pretty obvious. Where'd she go? Leona, a better ninja than Shen.
That's right. It's her new tagline.
That's right.
Well, Praying Cane pushing up very aggressively, as can be expected, with an Annie lane right there. Expression. By the way, we haven't seen a lot of top lane Shyvana here.
Yeah.
In Korea. But Chinese team has, in the past season of the LPL, really liked to jungle in top lane Shyvana to the extent that it got banned quite a bit for a while. And we'd be seeing some more of her right now. She's with her passive and the amount of armor that she's able to get, and she has some of the strongest base stats in the game. And those two things combined with a Spirit Visage and a Sunfire Cape equal a nearly unkillable champion once she gets those items.
Right.
And of course, she still retains that strength and speed of the ability to counter jungle from the top lane that we first saw really come into vogue in Season 2 from Darien. I mean, that hasn't gone away.
Yeah, well, depending on how tanky Watch builds as well, too. That's two really beefy champions on the side of Najin Blacksword. And he's going to try to come in from behind here. Flame. They're going to see if they can maybe get that slice and dice out of him before Watch comes in with the Zenith Blade. Here we go. They're coming in now. There we go. There's a slice. There's a dice. Now there's a Zenith Blade. He gets the flash. I don't know if that stun from Watch connected. Either way, they do a little bit of damage. Lustboy coming in onto Prey here. Gets the play. Kane escaping. There's the exhaust onto Kane. They're going to try to get first blood out of this. Can they do it, though? Valkyrie in. Can Kane escape? He's solo. I don't know. He barely gets away. Wow. That was a close call for Prey and Kane.
Yeah, no rockets there to finish that off. Of course, pre-6. Daydream now coming in to help shove this lane as hard as possible. And with that huge wave that they accumulated, that's going to be a lot of lost CS and gold heading straight into that turret. So a nice play from Blaze right there. Going to get a lot of damage on the tower as well. Good timing by Daydream to come in.
Yep, indeed. And Expression, meanwhile, is about half health. Here comes Watch again. He had him last. A couple flashes come through. Watch trying to flash for that one. Didn't quite get it, though. Wasn't able to connect with that Zenith Blade. They're going to go ahead and push the lane instead. And Jungle Leona's so cool. Leona's such a cool champion to begin with.
Yeah, I mean,
it's super aggro. I don't care if it doesn't work, Monte Cristo. I love it.
It does when it works well. When it doesn't work, it can be kind of a disaster. That's the issue. Now, in this, especially because right now what we're looking at from Najin Blacksword is a relatively low damage composition, but high CC. So their pick potential is going to be absolutely huge, and they can throw a lot of ults away on creating picks and not be too concerned about it.
Oh, Nagne maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Dark Flight, they get the knock of Nagne with the shield. Doesn't do a whole lot. Ambition going for it. This is going to be first blood, and it's going to go to Ambition Zari.
Yeah, Ambition getting first blood. This is novel. We can see the change in the team already.
It's a huge change for Blaze. It's like a 180, actually.
Watch
weird
there.
Twilight Zone we live in now.
Yeah, watch there to cover the lane. Still hasn't gotten much. He managed to go. See, if you can watch his build right now, you can see that he went for those boots. This is all about the ganks, which is how you have to play Jungle Leona, because after her first clear, her clear speed is pretty atrocious.
Yeah. Well, you can see even picked up the Fairy Charm, too, just because you will go out of mana really quick early on with Leona, too. Uh-oh.
And here we go. Oh, just going to get a ward there.
Right.
Just in time for the blue buff to come up.
Yeah.
So they will try and contest that more than likely. Watch should show up. And with Orianna at 6 right now, they have a really good ability to control that blue buff from CJ Blaze. So,
and our Watch really just needs to hit 6 himself as fast as possible, because as soon as you get that ultimate, that's going to be a ton of CC, and it's got such a long range as well, too, on the Solar Flare. I mean, very, very helpful stuff.
Well, similar build from Daydream this time. He didn't get the first blood this time around, so he's opting for a Vision Ward instead of going for that early Oracles, which he picked up last game. So that difference coming into play right here. You can see the jungler decision-making in action. Watch picking up that blue buff.
Daydream coming around for the dive possibly onto turret. We'll see. Watch is pretty close after giving that blue buff to Nagne. And it looks like he's going to think better of it. Yeah, Daydream just hanging out in the bot lane right now.
You know, Noah, I'm surprised we haven't seen more early diving from Daydream with the passive. That's typically what we've seen from the Chinese and European junglers that really innovated this jungle Aatrox.
That's a good point.
But he's not playing it as aggressively as I thought he might.
Interesting. Well, especially considering what an aggressive jungler he normally is, too. You'd think with a champion like that, he'd be under turrets 24/7.
Yeah, well, he's been playing a different kind of aggression in these last couple of games in terms of his item builds and his willingness to duel, as well as his vision control, just being particularly proactive of using that early vision, picking up vision wards, picking up oracles, and that's going to open up an opportunity right here after they shove into turret to do this dragon. A little bit of a risk, but because Kayn is not 6 yet, they feel safe enough to do it.
Yeah, they're going to get away with it. No problems at all taking that first dragon, and that's going to give a nice little gold lead when you combine that with the first blood that CJ Blaze has gotten in Game 2.
Yeah, Expression having a bit of a hard time in this lane against the Renekton. He is down versus Flame in terms of CS early, but that's the thing, though, is that once Shyvana really gets rolling, it gets scary.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit concerned right now. We do see that Chalice of Harmony coming down first onto Nagne, and I had wondered if we'd actually see a tier first Orianna in this case. Of course, that does leave you vulnerable to Ahri all-ins, but if you go for a faster Seraphs and Archangel Staff, you're going to be doing a lot more damage than you would with tier, or than you would with Chalice. And what Najin Blacksword really, really desperately needs is more damage.
Well, we'll see. It seems like they're playing for that later game team fight.
Well, the later this goes,
I don't know if that's going to work out for him.
yeah, it's going to be difficult for them to hit anybody with the CC because Corky and Ari are so mobile. So with that CC, you really want to go for the mid-game picks here. You want to run around the map and with all 5 members and just blow a lot of CC onto 1 or 2 people and then use that power play advantage that you have in a 5v4, 5v3 to take turrets.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing with all the CC on Najin's sword, though, is it's almost like you get a couple extra tries to get that big AoE CC down.
That's right.
So it's kind of like insurance.
Yeah, you don't even have to worry about using a couple of ults.
Yeah.
Because you can still fight after that because there's just so much CC.
Watch doesn't get slowed by the Q. Daydream, they're still going to go in on that. Actually, Spirit Rush use, they get the flash out of Watch. So, a relatively low cooldown ultimate from Ambition used to get the high cooldown summoner spell out of Watch. So, a little bit of a win there for CJ Blaze.
Yeah, they've done such a good job. Daydream's been helping out so much in terms of that vision control around the Dragon Pit right there, and that allowed them to force the flash from Watch.
Yep. Daydream lurking in this river brush, waiting for an opportunity to go on there. If Lustboy lands a death sentence or a flay, it could be really bad for Prey and Kane. More for Kane, really, but Kane does have 6.
All right, well, we see Watch coming back into that bot lane right there, and this has to be a counter gank would be absolutely devastating right here from Najin.
Yeah, there we go. There's the flash Tibbers right onto the Emperor himself. There's a flay into the box. Prey is there. Watch coming over the top. Lustboy doing a lot of damage to Watch. Watch can't really handle and has to back off. Death Sentence misses Prey. There's a slow onto Watch. It looks like they will leave it at that. That kill onto Kane. And he just so fragile. Easy to get that in that lane. Emperor got a little bit low, but made it out.
Yeah, and that's why you needed a counter gank right there instead of ganking from Najin Blacksword when they didn't know where Daydream was. Because what happened was when the Tibbers came in, Daydream immediately used Dark Flight to buy time during the stun. So basically everybody was stunned on both teams. Now, if they had waited for the Dark Flight to come in and then counter-engaged with chain CC from Tibbers and from Solar Flare, they would have come out of that a lot cleaner.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, once Annie does get that stun unloaded, there's just not a lot of damage that she's going to put out. She's going to die very quick.
Let's take a look at this again because it's actually quite interesting. So Kane comes in, gets 1 stun. Now look at this. The Dark Flight ties up everybody during that stun. So at the end of the day, you just have a much better advantage because Emperor manages to come back and get the kill. So nice job there from CJ Blaze.
Yeah, really nice. Did also result in a turret as well for CJ Blaze. So they pull that gold lead out to about 2.5K. Dragon's going to be up in about 2 minutes now. Daydream rotating up into that jungle.
Yeah, trying to see what they can do with this second blue buff right here. Nagne's intelligently putting a vision ward in there, but Lustboy already with the oracles there to take it out immediately.
Yeah, they're going to get that blue buff, it looks like, unless Sorg really wants to fight for it. And I don't know if that'd be the best idea right now. No Tibbers. No flash. Solar Flare is always up. It's got a low cooldown, but yep, they're going to go ahead and give the blue buff over. Prey tries to steal it with that True Shot Barrage, but it doesn't quite work out for him.
Yeah, they've had to be so careful. Watch coming in.
Yeah.
To a brush to use Vision Warded. Expression still having a lot of trouble up here in the top lane against Flames Renekton.
You know, what we're seeing, too, is the problems that Blaze had in game number 1 in this kind of mid-game stage are not there in game number 2.
Yeah, we're seeing
completely in control. Oh, Ambition. There's a shockwave into the Solar Flare. Oh, he manages to dodge the blade, though.
The Solar Flare only hit the...
He only got the slow.
He only got the slow, too, so that was actually a pretty big misplay there from Watch.
Any Leona will tell you that landing a Solar Flare on Ahri is probably one of the most difficult things you can try to do, though.
Well, it's not difficult when you have him already knocked up by the shockwave and you know exactly where he's going. That was
true. Maybe I'm making too many excuses.
You are. You're not being mean enough, Doa.
I guess so. It makes me feel better about me missing my own Solar Flares, though, so let me have this moment, Monte Cristo. So mean.
I'm only here to dash your dreams.
I don't criticize you when your gangplank doesn't work out, all right?
My gangplank always works out. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not always, just most of the time. Just like my Nami. All right. Well, that was awkward. Awkward for CJ Blaze. And Sword. Looks like Prey going to take some damage. A little bit of poke. He's going to be on fire for a little bit, but that's okay. At some point, nearly everybody's on fire in this game.
Well, we're hitting a point where CJ Blaze is going to have a pretty big advantage here.
And another Dragon's going to help that advantage quite a bit, too.
With the Deathfire Grasp already completed sub 15 minutes onto Nagne, he's fallen behind in or onto Ambition rather. He's fallen behind in farm as opposed to Nagne, but his kill potential right now pretty darn big. Finally, Expression.
Oh, there's the ult onto Flame. Expression really going hard onto Renekton, who doesn't have his ult available. Going to try to push that lane as fast as he can.
Yeah, Burnout there, doing a little bit of extra damage to Flame, but he's going to have to back off. Both players using that ultimate. And now, are we going to see... Nope, Expression just going to stay in that top lane. This is kind of a funny matchup because both he and Flame nearly always stay in their lanes.
Yeah.
They really, really both prefer to just stay in a lane the entire game and farm and push as much as possible and just be that immovable object. So it's
oh boy,
a pretty big...
Sword coming in. Now, if Ambition can get in behind them and just insta-give Kane, they're going to really take away a lot of Sword's fighting potential. Watch misses with the Solar Flare and the Zenith Blade, so this one's already kind of over. Ooh. Watch's Jungle Leona hasn't been the most impressive thing I've seen him play just yet.
What is it? Is 0-0-0 score
0-0.
16 minutes? He hasn't been able to get a successful gank off with one of the best gankers in the game. And to Blaze's credit, you know, that's partially due to them as well, but it's also that Watch doesn't seem entirely comfortable.
Nagne, goodbye. Yep.
He just doesn't seem entirely comfortable with the ranges on Leona's abilities. This is not something that looks terribly practiced right now, and from somebody who's as mechanically gifted as Watch is, just looks like a lack of time spent in solo queue practicing this.
Here we go. This is going to be the dive, I think. Expression needs to get out of there in a hurry. Death Sentence misses. Flame just zoning him. They're going to get that top turret pretty easily.
Also, we have to ask the question too. Why would you dive a Renekton with flash up? That's just not probably going to work, considering he was already at half health right there. So
good question. Question for the ages. And mid lane turret going down as well. It's now going to be 3 turrets to 0. So far, a perfect game for CJ Blaze. No kills, no turrets on the Najin Blacksword side. This one's looking a little bit rough. There we go, the ult coming in. Expression trying to just get Flame out of lane. Dominus popped as well.
It's just really funny to see these top laners go against each other. Again, their styles are so similar.
Yeah.
Farm all day, occasionally show up for a team fight.
If the team fight comes to you, that is. It's
let everyone else worry about the other lanes, creating pressure in other places, warding. Your entire purpose is to sit there in the top lane and be super tanky.
Yeah. They're kind of playing their own little 1v1 game up there. That's top lane. All right, well, Blaze grouping up in the jungle, looking to maybe get a pick on Watch, and they may get that. Lustboy just going to be content taking out that ward for now. They're going to be able to get that blue buff. And actually, Zenith Blade coming in. There's the Lustboy. There's the stun on top of trying to finish him off with the two-shot barrage, but there's just not enough damage. And there we go. Ambition being brought over by the Lantern. Expression takes down Lustboy, actually. There goes a perfect game. Thanks a lot, Lustboy.
Well, another tower is in pretty grave danger, but you can see now the roaming gank squad is starting to form here from Najin Blacksword. They're going to be looking for those players that are overcommitted and starting to try and get those big-time CC chains in order to take somebody out. But in the meantime, they continue to suffer turret damage. They're not rotating into that bot lane fast enough. They were going after Flame right there, but probably Daydream and Emperor would have been the better choice. But nice wards from CJ Blaze. Allow him to get out.
Yeah. Lustboy, just the biggest failure ever, man. He died. He died in this game. I almost had a perfect game today, but our Riven died once. Sad.
I'm so sorry for you.
I know the anger that CJ Blaze feels right now. I'm sure it feels exactly the same.
Now, Flame's pretty substantially ahead right now, thanks to the global objectives that Blaze has managed to acquire. You can see that he's nearly completed his Spirit Visage, while Expression only has that single Ruby Crystal. So just the dominance of Blaze coming through here, and that 6K gold lead.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy road for Sword from here on out. Relatively low kill game overall, though.
And this is the thing about, well, for the sake of it, a lot of Chinese teams used to use these roaming gank squads with a ton of CC and low damage, and just move around the map as a pack of 5 and try and find people one by one. And the key to defeating that is having a strong split push, which is exactly what CJ Blaze does, and also to have good forward wards to prevent those rotations. Because if you can force the enemy team to waste a lot of time on rotations, you can easily keep pressure across all 3 lanes on the map and eventually just whittle down the towers of your opponent. That's exactly what we're seeing Blaze do right here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is just textbook League of Legends right here.
Yeah, it is really textbook, and it's the way that you can pretty easily defeat these teams. And look at that. They go away immediately. They don't have wards in that lower jungle. They don't know what's coming. But guess what? They've got a ton of them up here on the red side jungle of Najin Blacksword. They are ready and waiting.
Oh yeah, and here they go. Daydream coming in with the engaged Solar Flare, misses everybody. Ambition AOK on the outside. Nice 4-man Shockwave though. And actually Daydream's passive pop. Ambition trying to get in the back lines. Prey still firing from behind, but it doesn't look like there's a death sentence on to Prey. Has to flash away, uses his berry as well, but Flame is right on top of him with the flash stun coming in. Ambition still alive. Renekton gonna claim another kill. Looks like Nagne will take this one. A messy fight. Still a 3-for-1 in favor of CJ Blaze, and I feel like that's about as good as it's going to get for Sword. I mean, we did see the miss from the ultimate from Watch, and Nagne still in trouble here. Oh, man, he goes down, and that's going to be about it.
Taking the turret right there, and that was actually a risky fight for CJ Blaze to take. As I was saying, what you really want to do in this situation, well, let's take a look at the fight. Yeah. So right here, Ambition coming in from the side, trying to assassinate Kane before he can get the Tibbers off. So successful in that regard. And now Daydream coming in, though, gets chunked nearly immediately. 4-man Shockwave doing a tremendous amount of damage, and then Expression coming in right after that. Fortunately knocked back before he could land with a lot of more magic AoE onto the core members of CJ Blaze. Prey gets caught up a little bit by the death sentence, and Ambition gets a little too close. Nagne going in with the flash to finish him off and pick up that shutdown gold. He manages to make it out, but Nagne had no mana either, so his rotation up to that top lane is even more puzzling than it was before.
And again, I feel like Watch has just been a little bit too trigger happy on these solar flares too, because when you see Ahri go in on your Annie like that, you know she's going to die. She's not going to make it out. That solar flare wouldn't have changed a thing, and I feel like if you would have waited that, been able to land it after, the Shockwave would have been big, but here we go. Now they're going to have a big engage onto it. Emperor takes out Kane right away, though. Watch in trouble again, and the AoE CC just not doing a whole lot for Sword. Prey caught in the middle of everything. Shyvana coming in, Expression trying to do some AoE. He will finally take out Corki. 2 for 2 so far. It's a support duel in the back, though. Lustboy can't handle Nagne, though. We'll get it. Watch recalling just in time. That was another messy fight for Blaze, and Sword actually comes out on top of that one.
Well, again, even with this big lead that we have from CJ Blaze, you have to be so careful about that CC that Najin Blacksword has.
Yeah.
And they came out relatively even over the course of the last 2 fights in spite of their gold deficit. And this isn't, CJ Blaze, for some reason, is seeing a lot of need to fight these fights right now, but they just need to do what Blaze does and keep split pushing. We saw earlier that they got those wards, and then they were watching for the 5-man pain train to come their way, and as soon as they saw it, we saw them back off the towers. Yeah. All they need to do is keep juggling like that across all 3 lanes, and they will easily close out this game. Instead, they're opting for some dangerous fights and fighting in the jungle, too. Not advised against that AoE CC. They ended up eating that 4-man Shockwave with the Void Staff doing just a ridiculous amount of damage to them. And then Ambition getting caught out there by the Flash Tibbers from Kane.
Well, it's going to be so hard for you to dodge that AoE CC in the jungle, too. Yeah, you just can't afford to do that. And now, Blaze just working on getting all their lanes pushing again. Pretty much are at this point.
We also saw the power of Shyvana in that last fight around the dragon as well, because what's dangerous about Shyvana is that she's not as dangerous against Corki, but against a champion more like Caitlyn. Shyvana's very good against Caitlyn. But basically, once you get into the back lines and you start using Burnout for that movement speed bonus, she can stick so easily to your AD carry, and she's so tanky that the AD carry will pretty much just have to kite Shyvana alone, and you take him out of the fight effectively. And there's no way that your AD carry is going to get away if he's already used his gap closer because of Burnout. So
yep.
It's it is a champion that is situationally quite good. And is still doing work here in spite of the fact that Expression is a little bit behind in terms of his global gold. And as you can see, Flame has that Bilgewater Cutlass, and he's getting this to get into Blade of the Ruined King so that he can consistently win duels against Expression because he's going to have that % health damage on another tank.
Sword certainly does have a little bit of a chance.
Now, it also is just a fantastic item in terms of split pushing as well, so I think that Blaze should be moving back to a more split pushing style right now. As you can see, Flame already shoving the wave up in that top lane.
Right now, it's all about that dragon control. They're trying to gain some vision there and actually watch, maybe walking into a bit of a trap here, and there it is. They do catch him, puts on the solar flare, misses a lot of people. Unfortunately for them, Shockwave was just used as well. Didn't do a whole lot that time.
They really don't want to fight in this jungle.
Yeah, this is still a bit dangerous. Now Expression comes in. There's the box to try to zone him out. Flame gets into the back lines. Nagne still untouched, though. They're going to go and get the kill on Expression. He didn't have enough support from the back lines. All the CCUs there.
Yeah, and if they can't win with that at this point, it's going to be looking pretty grim, and they're
it's a Baron now.
Going to be going ahead and getting that Baron, and that's the problem with the low damage, as we talked about, coming out of the Najin Black Sword. And Prey gets caught by Ambition and demolished by his combo.
Wow. Yeah, you just cannot afford to get yourself caught like that. That's a bit uncharacteristic for Prey, too. He's usually one of the better Ezreals in terms of not getting caught, but there's the Baron. A nice attempt from Nagne, but couldn't quite get the steal with that dissonance.
Well, Joe, I have to say, I'm liking the new look Blaze. They still have a few kinks to work out.
Oh, Watch gets caught again. Talk about layering CC. Charm right into the death sentence. And that's going to be a turret and then some. They're going to rotate down to that bot lane. They got to get that lane pushing a little bit. Methodical, slow death on the way for Najin Sword, it looks like.
Yeah, this new CJ Blaze, like I said, they still have some kinks to work out. They didn't really have to take those two team fights earlier on. Well, let's take a look at this one, though. Watch just getting caught right here. It doesn't manage to make it over the wall with the Zenith Blade. Flame tying up Prey for a long time, but Prey gets comes back into this fight. Expression comes in from the side, but Expression just gets all of the slows onto him, so he's not able to get back to his team. And after Kane uses that and Nagne goes on cooldown, there's just not enough damage left to take down CJ Blaze.
It's tough, you know, even a champion as tanky as Shyvana, if you get stuck by yourself in that 1v5 situation, you're not going to live too long.
Yeah, so CJ Blaze, as I was saying, they've got, and look at QSS now on Ambition. He realizes he has enough damage, so he's just going to get an item so that he can't get picked quite as easily anymore. And that's the correct buy in the situation. When you're this far ahead, you don't need more damage. You need that survivability so you can ensure that the push continues.
Well, here comes Ambition. He could potentially make a plan to watch here, although Prey is right there. It'd be a little bit dangerous in this case. Yeah, so he's just going to play it normally. Plus Boy with that Oracles, clearing out the wards, continuing to gain that vision advantage.
Oh, it's crucial that CJ Blaze maintains the vision advantage right now, because if they want to siege a turret, they have to make sure that there isn't a Flash Tibbers or a Solar Flare coming down on them.
Well, if you just look at that jungle, so many blue wards in there from the CJ Blaze side of things. And they've got all their lanes pushing. Top may push back fairly soon, but they're going to be able to put some pressure on the other lanes until then. There we go. They're going to bring him in. There's a death sentence on the Prey. What a play to take out Prey. Man.
Very nice kill by Lust Boy right there.
Yeah, what an amazing play. Here we go. Flame and Daydream coming in the back. They got Watch. Dead to rights and Expression trying to do anything he can to stop this. There's another big shockwave, but the box zoning too well. Tibbers not able to get that damage done. They do have to back off just a bit, but only to take out that tier 2 turret. That play from Lustboy was just amazing. Got to see a replay of that one.
Yeah, especially coming back, though, clearing out the wave. Will they be able to do it? Charm misses.
Yeah. Oh, some decent damage. Daydream a bit low.
Sorry, Flame is there to absorb all of the damage.
Yep.
Doing a nice job of clearing out of the range, and they're going to have to back off as Prey and Watch come back up, just giving final little shove here into the mid lane.
Yep.
So Najin Blacksword doing a good job at least of holding them off. Only one turret taken, but as you were saying, Doa, it is kind of a slow, inevitable death at this point.
I mean, if you look at it, they're 12,000 gold ahead. Expression nearly going down right there. Flame going in to try to finish it off, but can't quite do it when he sees the rest of Sword coming in. But 15-5 kills, 6 turrets to 1. It would be pretty much a miracle comeback for Sword to win this game.
Well, I like the fact that we saw Najin Blacksword doing a little bit more of an experimental composition right there. Lustboy, look at this. Death Sentence manages to hit Prey right there on the edge of the hitbox, and then Leona flashes in for a second. He didn't even get hit by that charm. He just got blown up.
Oh, well. It looked cool anyway. I like the surprise Leona for a moment there.
What are you doing here, Leona?
Leona? Thanks for the help.
Okay.
Greencasters talking about that too.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. Sounds like it. All right, well, the inevitable rushing doom being felt by Sword here.
Well, I like the fact that we're seeing a little bit of a different composition. You know, I was afraid, Doa, that this tournament would look a lot like the World Championship, but it's actually really not looking anything like the World Championship at all overall, at least from the Korean team. I mean, this comp is obviously very weird for Najin Blacksword, and if you guys caught some of the earlier qualifiers, you would have seen a lot of Lucian and Nidalee.
Yeah,
unfortunately, Lucian is disabled on the tournament realm, and the live realm was used for the earlier stages, but it's been an interesting one.
Yeah. Imagine if those had been played this week, we'd see Jinx. She is pretty strong right now.
She is indeed.
All right, well, CJ Blade's just rotating. Trying to look for those opportunities to maybe get in there and take out a turret, maybe an inhibitor if they have a good fight.
You really have to hand it to Emperor as well.
Oh, here we go. Solar Flare again. Watch his Solar Flares, man. Have not been hitting what they need to hit this game.
He didn't even get a slow off on that one. But anyway, Emperor, you got to hand it to this guy. He goes into this game against one of the most fearsome AD carries in Korea in Prey, and he has performed exceptionally well in both of these games tonight.
Yeah, he's really looking like a rising star here. He looked great last week in the earlier rounds of the qualifiers and looking equally good tonight, if not better already. And here we go. That top turret down to about a third health. Bot turret's dead. Goodbye. And they're going to come in on a Prey. A lot of damage being done by Flame, actually. Prey has to back out, and that's going to force him out for any team fights that might happen. This is the moment that Blaze has been looking for now.
Yeah, you can't stop Flame with this Blade of the Ruined King either. He's just so scary. I mean, he just pretty much took out a 1v2 situation. Daydream gets a little caught. Ooh. Lantern out of the command attack and dissonance. Nice job there.
Yeah, no shockwave use. They still have that. I think we're going to see a pretty aggressive push here coming in. Oh, Daydream does have to go back, so they might be content just to get this inhibitor. Gets the flash out of Nagne. Very, very low. Continuing to hammer onto this inhibitor. And watch, his Solar Flare is up again. There we go.
Wow, nice charm onto Expression as he comes in. Prevents the pursuit right there.
Yeah.
Ambition. Slowing that one out. He took out that top turret. Couldn't quite get the inhibitor himself.
Yep. They do get the bottom inhibitor, though. The Emperor.
The Emperor.
Emperor.
Well done. Yeah, Blaze just methodically pushing this one out. Not taking any risks. They want to move on to the next stage. Yep. This semifinals here of WCG Korea.
I think before the games, I heard that Prey walked up to Emperor and said, "Your overconfidence is your weakness," and Emperor, of course, replied with, "Well, your faith in your friends is yours."
That's right.
Yep.
Well, Prey.
Pretty sure how that went down.
Should have been your faith in your play calling.
It's true.
Najin Sword. I mean, I feel like in both of these games we've seen the weaknesses of Sword. Game 1, it was their shot calling. Game 2, it was their picks and pans. Pretty quintessential, because it's not that they've played particularly. I mean, they've been pretty okay in both of the games tonight, but there have been some moments of weakness.
And it's going to be another Baron for CJ Blaze. And there's really not going to be a whole lot that Sorg can do about this. They're going to try to come in and fight this. This could get interesting, actually. Ambition waiting, wants to get that snipe off on one of the lower health members, one of the Scoopy members. Here we go. They're going to go in. Baron is down, and now the fight commences. Flame over the top immediately. Watch looking for an opportunity. There's some of the stuns coming in, especially going to the back lines, but already Frey and Kane go down. Watch just can't do anything here. They're going to chase down Nagne. There's a double kill already for Ambition. Goodbye, Expression. A perfect team fight after that Baron. A triple kill for Emperor. Unlimited power.
And that was actually an insanely aggressive play by Emperor right there, coming over the wall in order to finish that kill. I'm really surprised he managed to live through that.
I like it.